Welcome back to the channel. My name is Okuchuku Ben Obi, and today we're going to be showing you 7 steps to turning your skills into business. 7 steps to turning your skills into business. Let me be clear from beginning. I am not a content creator, but I'm here to support you to become what God has destined you to be from beginning, for you to conquer poverty, for you to become the shining stars that God has made you to be. My personal story, I was born without even a spoon, not even a silver one, even a spoon. But with what God have taught me and what I have applied in my life, God have helped me to come away from poverty to where I am today. And God said, freely you have received, freely you should give. So I will encourage you to please watch this video from beginning to the end. It's not entertainment, it is informative and transformative education. So today, we're going to be showing you how to turn skills into real income without waiting to be perfect. So if you've ever wondered how to take what you already know, the skill you already have, and build a profitable business from it, you are in the right place. So sit back and look at what we're going to be discussing today. It will help you greatly. So we break down today in this video how to identify the problems your skills can solve, how to find the right audience, and how to turn simple abilities into clear paid services that people will be willing to put their hard-earned money excitedly to give you. Now, turning your skills into a business is less about being perfect and more about being useful, being visible, and being consistent. Useful, visible, and consistent. Here is a clear roadmap that you can follow. You can plug and play it in any skill, any talent that God has deposited in you. Number 1 is to clarify what your skill is really selling. Clarify from beginning what you are really selling. In 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 10, 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 10, the Bible said, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others. This highlights that your offering or whatever you are giving is really a solution that serves others, not just a skill for its own sake. Not just I can sing, not just I can sew, not just I can mold block, but you are offering a service to the other people, and you must get it clear from beginning. Your skill isn't the business. Your skill is the solution, and the solution is the business that your skill is offering. So ask yourself a simple question. What problem does my skill or skills solve? Now, who is struggling with that problem that my skill is solving? Who is struggling with it? Why would they pay to fix that problem? Why would somebody pay to fix the problem that my skill can solve? My own case, I am a pest controller. And I soon realized that everybody have different pests in their house. Either cockroach, mosquitoes, ants, rats. And a pest controller addresses problem of unwanted pests. That's for me. I was able to define what my problem, my skill, my ability was meant to solve. It's targeting towards reducing health risks from organisms like rats, cockroaches, mosquitoes, ants that can spread disease and trigger allergies, preventing property damage, cause pest challenges such as termites reducing wood, rodents minimizing food contamination and waste, controlling infestations by eliminating their sources, and preventing recurrence and improving overall comfort and peace of mind. And so Once I discovered this is what I am selling, not just pest control. I am selling safe environment. I am selling health. I am selling peace of mind. I am selling prosperity for people that are in the industry of, hospitality. So if you are good at graphic design, for instance, you are helping small businesses look professional. If you are a good baker, you provide custom cakes for busy parents. These are the problems that you are solving, not just selling cake. Providing cakes for busy parents for their children to have good meal, either in school or after school. Are you skilled at tutoring? You are helping students improve in their grades fast. Yeah, you are helping. You must be able to define your skill as a clear result, not just a talent. What result are you bringing to bear on people's problem? What result are you bringing to bear on people's difficulties? If you understand what your skill, the problem your skill is solving, you are in for business. Number 2, having been clear of what your skill is solving, is to identify a specific target market. Identify a specific target market. You are not sent to everybody. Jesus said, sent his disciple in the book of Matthew. He said, do not go among the Gentiles. Go rather to the lost sheep of Israel. Not to everybody, the lost sheep of Israel. This is a clear example of defining a specific target audience. Instead of scattered approach, you just enter bus, you are going here and there. You must have a specific target in mind that your solution is solving their problem. In 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 22, 1 Corinthians 9:22, the Bible said, I have become all things to all people, so that by all possible means I might save some. That's Apostle Paul speaking in this 1 Corinthians chapter 9. I might save some. Apostle Paul shows adapting your approach based on your audience, which is key in targeting effectively the people that you are called to serve. In Galatians chapter 2, 7-8, Galatians chapter 2, 7-8, Paul the Apostle also is entrusted with the gospel to the Gentiles. Peter to the Jews. So they know who they were called to serve. This reflects clear role and market distinction. Different people are assigned to different groups. What your problem is solving is not what my own problem is solving. You must know who you are sent to serve. Very important. In Proverbs 27 verse 23, Proverbs 27 verse 23, Bible said there, it said, be sure you know the condition of your flocks. The condition of your flocks. The people that you are assigned to. Study them. This is a powerful principle. Know your people well. Their needs, their condition, and their context. Don't sell to everyone. You are going to diffuse energy. Busy here and there, gaining little. Define your niche. Define your niche. Choose a specific group that your skill is going to profit. Is it students, start-up business people? Is it for brides? Is it for small shops? A specific problem, a specific outcome. This is very important, okay? So you must be able to know from beginning who you are sent to, so that you don't begin to dissipate energy chasing everybody that will not appreciate you. The more specific, the easier it is to attract paying clients. The more specific, the easier it is for you to attract paying clients. For it is people that your problem, that have the problem that your solution is going to impact, that will pay you, not everybody. Number 3, test before you build. Test before you build. In Luke chapter 14 verse 28, Luke chapter 14 verse 28, Bible said there, it says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost? Test before you build. Estimate the cost. This is the clearest parallel. Evaluate and validate before you start the building. Evaluate and validate before you start the business. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 21, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 21, Bible says, test everything, hold fast that which is good. Direct principle of testing before committing is embedded in that 1 Thessalonians we just read. Keep what works, not everything. You must know what works. In Proverbs 14 verse 15, the Bible said, the simple believe anything. Listen, but the prudent give thought to their steps. You reflect over your step before you start. Encourages careful evaluation. That's what the Bible is saying. Instead of rushing in blindly, you must be careful, circumspective, evaluate before you start. What will it cost me? In Proverbs 24 verse 27, the Bible said, build your outer doors in order. Put your outer door in order so that you can build your house well. I'm paraphrasing. It implies proper preparation and sequencing before building. You prepare well, you sequence well before you build. Start small. Yeah? Don't start white elephant product. Start elephant project. Start small. Don't overcomplicate matters. Offer small services first. 3 persons, 5 persons, charge something, even if it is small. Yeah? You're starting a business. Charge them small. Those small services you are rendering, you charge 3 or 4 persons. Yeah? And then try and get feedback from them. How did you see this, my teaching? How did you see this, my pest control? And then from their feedback, you begin to improve. This is what I'm going to do better. Remember, you are starting on a very small scale first, so the mistake will not be loud. So you don't need a website first. You just need proof that people can pay for that service. Just keep applying this in the way we are. And then in the 4th step is packaging. Packaging. You must learn to package your skill. Package your skill. Here, we are really talking about organizing, refining, and presenting what you have in a way that makes it usable and valuable to others. Not just having ability, but structuring it well. Yeah? In my village, they said, if you don't regard your calabash, neighbors will use it and carry ash. In Matthew 25, verse 14 to 15, Matthew 25, 14 to 15, the Bible said there, it said the master gives talents, each according to his several abilities. Now, this shows that what you've been given is meant to be developed and put to structured use, not left raw or undefined or unrefined. You must, that small that you have been given, that skill that is in the raw state, refine it and make it usable and sellable. In Proverbs 18 verse 16, Proverbs chapter 18 verse 16, Bible said, a man's gift makes room for him and bring him before great men. Yeah, a man's gifts make room for him and brings him before great men. Your skill must be positioned and presented in a way that opens doors. This is essential, or this is essentially packaging. In Exodus chapter 31, verse 3 to 5, Exodus 31, 3 to 5, the Bible spoke about Bezalel and Aholiab, And specifically about Bezalel, he said Bezalel is filled with skill, ability, and craftsmanship. For what? For specific works. His ability were clearly defined. It was clearly refined and applied to specific outputs. A strong picture of structured skill. Not just, your skill is not meant for anything. It is meant for specific structures solution. In 1 Corinthians chapter 14 verse 40, 1 Corinthians 14 verse 40, he said, let all things be done decently and in order. Let all things be done decently and in order. This speaks to organization and clarity, yeah, which is essential in how you present your skills. When I started by treating, I said, okay, look, you have cockroach, I can actually remove it. Some of them I did with very small amount of money. And then I go back to them, I ask them, how did you see the work? It worked. And before you know it all, from there, I was introduced to big hotels. Turn your career into something clear and prized. Your skill, turn it into something very clear and prized. Yeah? Not pro bono. Charge small because you are going to make money from it. Yeah. Example is, if you can write resume, for instance, resume, you could say resume package 100,000, logo design bundle 300,000. You are being specific, packaging specific solution. You could say to people 4-week mathematics improvement program for so and so amount of money, 4 weeks English improvement program for so amount of money. Now, people buy packages, not vague promises. What exactly are you presenting to them? People want to know what exactly, how much is your package? In fact, oftentimes in my course of business, you call people and they say they have so and so problem. In fact, before you could say anything, how much is it? What is it that you are going to give to me? So you must be clear from beginning. Number 5, start marketing simply. We said earlier, don't start by creating website. Start marketing simply. The core idea is not overcomplication. Start with what you have. Communicate clearly to your friends and take practical action rather than waiting for perfection. Just simple baby step. In Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 4, the Bible said there clearly, it said, whosoever watches the wind will not plant. Whosoever looks at the clouds will not reap. Now, this is a very powerful warning against overthinking, procrastination, and delay. Just start simple. Simple marketing. Just start simple. Very simple. In Zechariah chapter 4 verse 10, the Bible said, do not despise these small beginnings. Do not despise these small beginnings. And what this place is saying is encouraging you to start small and simple, even if it doesn't look impressive yet. You don't want to hear how my first pest control outing was. But today, people call me consultant, where it came from a lot of experience. In Exodus chapter 4 verse 2, what this place is saying, he said, God uses what Moses already had. He asked him, what is in your hand? What is in your hand? Start with available resources, not ideal ones. It doesn't have to be perfect, just anything that is available. God is interested in breathing on that small thing that you're calling small. Very soon, it's going to become a mighty ocean. In Proverbs chapter 10 verse 4, Proverbs 10:4, he said, diligent hands bring wealth. Diligent hands bring wealth. The emphasis here is consistent and persistent action over complexity. Yeah? Consistent and persistent action over complexity. In Matthew chapter 5 verse 15, he said, neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl, You don't light lamp and cover it. What this means is that you should make yourself visible and shared, not hidden, waiting for perfection. If you hide yourself, nobody is going to announce you. You don't need advert first. Just tell your network. Yeah, in my parlance, they say parapo. Your group of community members, your church member. Tell them, post your work consistently in your WhatsApp group. Share your before and after result. I'm very much good at snapping before and after. And that has been bringing a lot of testimonial. That shows results. That shows people that you can do what you claim that you can do. They can verify. Educate your audience. Yeah? Educate your audience. Visibility creates opportunity. Visibility creates opportunity. Now, I remember the first time that was started, we used to do advert in Guardian every month. And I can't tell you how much of the funnel, how much businesses that will get doing that advert. Treat it like a business. That's number 6 now. We're looking at number 6. Treat your skill like a business. Here is a biblical theme that you could reflect on in terms of that. Speak about diligent, order, and accountability in how you manage what is entrusted in your hand. Not treating your work casually or randomly, but with purpose and responsibility. Yeah? Bible talk about talent, that, people that he gave some 5, some 3, some 1. But some person went and had the own talent and God rebuked him. In Luke chapter 16 verse 10, Luke 16 verse 10, he said, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Whoever that can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. The principle here is principle of responsible management and faithful handling. Yes, responsible managing and faithful handling, like running something seriously rather than casually. Be serious about your business. That small one, they say the taste of the pudding is in the eating. Be serious. In Proverbs 27 verse 23 to 24, Proverbs 27, 23 to 24, he said, be sure you know the condition of your flock. This is a clear picture of tracking, managing, and paying attention to your resources. Like an operator of a business, you must be serious. Don't say, well, it doesn't matter. Everything counts. For what you are today will define what you are going to be tomorrow. In Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 to 24, Colossians 3, 23 to 24, Bible said, it said, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. All your heart, not some. Treating your work as something done with excellence and purpose, not casually or half-heartedly. If you undermine yourself, is it me that will respect you? Take your business serious. In Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5, Proverbs 21, verse 5, the Bible said, the plans of the diligent lead to profit. The plan of the diligent lead to profit. Now, every business must align with planning. Every business must be diligent and intentional in execution. This is what will lead you to effective results. In Luke chapter 14, verse 28, Luke chapter 14, verse 28, Bible said, sit down and estimate the cost. Sit down and estimate the cost of your action, the cost of your service. This reinforces strategic thinking, awareness before acting. You must be intentional. You must be circumspective like a business owner. That is how you grow your skill into a business. Even if it is small. Remember, Bible said you should not despise the day of humble beginning. Track your income and expenses. This is very important. Track your income and expenses. Deliver on time. Don't say they will understand. You must strive hard to deliver your services on time. Communicate to your client professionally. Keep improving your skill on a regular basis. You must always be better than yesterday. Everything you do must reflect that you are growing from one level of glory to another level of glory. Consistently build trust, because trust builds income. It is trust that builds income. People don't just buy the product, they buy the character of the seller. They don't just buy skill, they buy the person that is peddling that skill. Point 7, as we wrap up, scale slowly. Scale slowly. Here is the biblical idea and wisdom in the Bible that will enable you to grow and build stability before expansion, and help you to avoid premature expansion that will lead to collapse. Yeah? Expansion that will lead to what? Collapse. In Luke chapter 14, 28 to 30, Luke chapter 14, 28 to 30, Bible said there, it says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Will he not first of all sit down and take the cost? Otherwise, after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish, people will begin to laugh at him. This is a direct principle of measured growth and planning before expansion. You must plan before you begin to expand, before you hire more staff. The one you have, are you able to pay them? In Proverbs chapter 24, verse 27, Proverbs 24, verse 27, Bible said, it said, put your outdoor work in order and get your field ready. After that, build your house. It's a clear pattern of sequence and gradual building and preparing first before expounding. If you cannot take care of one client well and you are going for 10, you're going to make a catastrophic impression of yourself. In Zechariah chapter 4 verse 10, Zechariah 4 verse 10, the Bible said, do not despise this small beginning. It's affirmed to us that small, steady starts are not inferior. They are the foundation of lasting growth. Foundation of what? Lasting growth. In Exodus chapter 23, 29 to 30, Exodus 23, 29 to 30, God says he will drive out the enemies of Israel little by little. Not at once, little by little. He knew that they were not astute in war. They don't even have weapon when they left Egypt. So he need to do it small, small. A powerful picture of gradual expansion to prevent overwhelming increase and instability. In Proverbs chapter 13 verse 11, Proverbs chapter 13 verse 11, Bible equally said there, it said, wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whosoever gathered little by little will increase wealth. This is probably the most direct scale slowly that we can see in the Bible. Yeah? It's a principle that God encouraged us to be painstaking, slow. Don't begin to run before you crawl. The stage of human growth is clear. You must first of all sit and then stand and then begin to take a little baby step before you begin to walk briskly and run. Once it works, then you can begin to raise prices. If the first person, no, that's good. You cannot begin to, okay, instead of 5 naira, it is 10 naira now. Niche down, and scale up slowly. Now begin to create system. Since it is not working, begin to create system and begin to add digital products or courses in what you are doing. Begin to now think of, well, I cannot alone now serve the whole of these people. Let me get help. Let me hire more hands. And that way, you now see your business from where it was originally, just you alone, you are growing in leaps and in bounds. And trust me, when you follow this precept, this simple formula for turning your skill into business, and you find that you are going to grow from one level to another level. So in summary, what we have just told you is simple. We can summarize it in this simple formula: skill plus problem plus specific audience and consistent action equals to business. Let me say that again. Skill, your talent, plus problem that is going to solve, plus specific audience that you are called to be, plus consistent action equal to business. And so, whether you are just starting or trying to grow, the focus here is simple. Be useful to your community. Be useful to your environment. And then, having been useful, be visible and stay consistent. Because skill alone don't make money. Solution do. Skill alone don't make money. Solution do. Now, as we begin to wrap up, I want to encourage you. If you are ready to turn your skill into a real business, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe and stay consistent with your journey. Yeah? Be consistent with your journey. By the grace of God, new videos will drop, will help you to take action. We are not just giving word. We want you to take action. We want you to learn. Remember, then start small. Whatever you want to do. Solve real problems, not just talk. And keep showing up whenever you are called. Don't say, I'm tired. There is lion in the way. It's raining. Your first paying client is closer than you think. Your first paying client is closer than you think. And so, if this video have helped you, please don't forget to encourage people to watch it, share it with them. Who knows? Together, we might be creating the next millionaire next door. Thank you so much for watching. Until we meet again, my name is Okuchukwu Ben Obi. See you soon.